Alright, what is going on, guys? MeeZoid here. Welcome back to another video. Today's video is all about the Christmas update on Minecadia factions. So I used to make these type of videos way back in the past for just like the usual Minecadia maps, and I stopped doing them, and I used to do these way back in Viper when we had the big update. So this is a big update video. I'm not going to be saying the same old information about what Minecadia is. Rather, I'm going to go over the entire Christmas update for the factions realm, which I'll probably mention some of the other realms as well. But we have a lot of stuff planned, so stay tuned. Leave a like down below. Comment your IGN. I'm going to be doing a giveaway on this video as well. If you want to win the Kraken rank for free, just comment your IGN, leave a like, and let me know if you're going to be playing. Be sure to do redeem at MeeZoid on Star of the World as well. And later today, we are actually resetting all of the active punishments on Minecadia. This includes all bans, all mutes, all blacklists, and we're also resetting the jail, like the get out of jail prices, because you know they increase every time you get banned. They're all resetting back to default. Reason being is because we've like kind of implemented a more active and new policy of screen sharing, and like the SS reports are actually really looked at actively, and people get SS'd, and if you're cheating, I think like your set could get taken, stuff like that. So we're resetting everything, clean slate. This is a good time for people that may have been cheating in the past to not cheat anymore, and then we are going to be a lot more strict with the rules and stuff like that, screen sharing. So obviously, I don't like cheating, don't cheat, but we are doing a punishment reset, and we're not going to be doing this again. So this is a very rare thing, but we're just doing it because it's been a while since the last one. It's the holiday season, might as well give people some second chances. So I have a big paragraph on the post about what our goals are for the update, but I'll just summarize it that basically we want to kind of integrate the play styles of base factions and PvP factions. If you didn't know, we can actually go on the live server right now because it's still up. If I do F top, it's like so like, dude, F-top 1 is like 15 times the value of F-top 2. Most of the factions on Minecadia are PvP factions. There's not a lot of base ones. And the reason for that is because like the playstyles are so different. They're not really integrated at all, and there's no purpose for them to really blend. So yeah, that's one thing we want to do, is try to integrate the playstyles so that both PvPers need base people and base people need PvPers. Getting into the map information, which I did, I think, mention a little bit already. 15-man factions. Okay, so a lot smaller faction size than typical. We want to actually have a lot more full factions than just one faction that has like 100 players on their roster and just instantly dominates. I want to make it a little bit more balanced. Obviously, it's the holiday season, so I'm hoping a lot more people will be able to get full factions. The extra roster size is an additional 5, so that means your roster will be 20 people, but only 15 people can be in the faction at one time. So typically in the past, I think we've done like really large rosters, which has led to people just like rotating into a faction and just letting like the top power factions with like a huge roster always win the map because they're just a lot more active. So it should be a lot more balanced now. A lot more factions should probably be splitting up or just making their own group and stuff like that due to the size. And I think it's going to actually help with the updates that we're releasing this update as well, which I'll get into later. There's going to be no allies or truces at all as well. So again, it's just teams, 15 mans can be online at once, 5 extra roster slots, so you can keep going in and out and stuff like that. We got a 5-week long map, so it's going to last through all of December into the new year, ending I think the middle of the week of January 6th. So it's going to end like January 4th. So that means we've got 2 weeks of grace period, which is another incentive for people to actually try and make a base and stuff. They've got 2 weeks to build it. That's plenty of time. We do have some stuff planned for like the first weekend, which is I'm going to get into later. But yeah, 2 weeks of grace period. We used to do this way back early on Minecadia. I know a lot of people liked it, some people didn't. And then the world sizes, we got the 10,000 by 10,000 overworld, or I guess the board is at 10,000, so it's actually 20,000 by 20,000. We got borders at 2K in Tundra, Desert, Plains, and Nether. And the Nether has been revamped. I actually don't. Oh yeah, this is the revamped Nether. You can see right here we got the purchase pots. There's my NPC, and yeah, we've got a Christmas themed Nether. It's got a nice little castle in the middle. Looks like we got a frozen water gank, so it's not actually water. We've got a freaking mountain off the side. I always like those. I think there's some other stuff that's built around, but yeah, basically just Christmas themed all around, like I said. Okay, so that's like the basic information. Now it's time to get into the actual updates. So the first thing that we're going to be talking about is Expeditions 2.0. So the first thing is obviously it's going to be a completely brand new theme, like a lore, a storyline, all that sort of stuff is brand new, and I'll go ahead and read it. So this is what was come up with by everyone. So the Minecadia pirates have plundered all of the land of Minecadia, which are the freaking islands we have right here. And basically they got into like a blizzard while searching in the Arctic, and and then their ship ran into an iceberg, they crashed, and that's the kind of the theme of the Expeditions 2.0 storyline. So basically, the first island that you're actually going to be in is you're going to be in a sunken ship underwater into a glass dome, because they discovered a series of cities underwater, and that's like the storyline. I know some people don't care for storylines. Some people think it's cool. I think it's kind of cool just to give it one, as well as with the other content we've introduced into the feature. But basically, it's 6 underwater domes, of like different islands. So basically it's the same idea that there's 6 islands of Uncharted Isles, like all the way to Island 6, where 6 is the PvP island. So we have 6 domes that are underwater. They're a little bit smaller in size, but a lot more, I guess, dense with builds. So they're really cool themes. They're all different themes. So the first big thing that's different about Expeditions 2.0, obviously, other than the completely brand new theme, domes, builds, mobs, and bosses, is the fact that the whole like systematic functionality is also changing. So you now have an Expeditions wardrobe. This is how you actually warp to Expeditions. You have to select one of your sets. So I don't know if this is how it's going to look on release, as in like having all these sets right here, but basically you can take out these pieces out of your loadout, and you can obviously build a god set and all that, and then you put it back into the wardrobe where they belong, and then you can select your loadout. So it's a very easy way of swapping between certain loadouts and stuff like that. But the reason we're doing this is because we've changed the system that you can no longer just warp into Expeditions with anything you want. You have to use something in your wardrobe for your set, and then if you die, you now actually lose all of your loot, but nobody can pick it up, and that's through the domes 1 through 5. And then at the PvP island, well, actually going back to that, if you do die, there's also a chance that you will lose a piece of enchant on your armor every single time you die. But at Island 6, where PvP is enabled, what happens is the set, you actually do lose it on death. So Islands 1 through 5, you don't lose the set that you have worn, you just lose the items in your inventory. But Island 6, you do lose everything because it is a PvP island. By the way, I'm trying to summarize everything that I wrote. I spent a lot more time on the forums post, like explaining it in a more clear way. So if I'm not making sense about anything, just be sure to refer to that, because it's probably the most detailed and organized explanation. But so the next thing is boss scales. So complete Ronnie's tasks, which I believe Ronnie is an NPC in the theme or the storyline, in order to obtain rare resources and boss scales. Trade these resources to Ronnie in order to achieve items specifically to help your gameplay in Expeditions. Depending on the level of task, you receive a different amount of boss scales. The harder the task, the better the reward, including brand new exclusive rare rewards from certain tasks. Don't know if I can show you anything of that in game, but it's just basically another system on top of what already exists of getting brand new loot and stuff like that. The next things for Expedition 2.0 are the mastery points. So the mastery points is pretty similar to a skill tree, which is really, really cool. So you get mastery points as you progress through your Expeditions levels, which is obviously Expedition level. It's the same thing where you just kind of get XP as you actually do the, kill mob and stuff like that. Once you level up, you get a mastery point. It might be every 5 levels or something like that, but basically you can access and upgrade a new skill tree using these points to get access to exclusive benefits, perks, and like specific trees and expertises. I don't know if that's the word, expertises. You get what I mean. But basically, when you max out a certain tree, I think it's 5 levels per tree, then you get a special like ability, kind of like one that can be activated. It's really cool. So some of the stuff might have been changed, but let me actually go ahead and read out some of the stuff. So there's one that's called Dexterity, which is a dodge chance in PvP and PvE in Expedition. So level 1, you'd have like a percentage dodge chance, and then level 5, you had the highest percentage chance to dodge an ability, dodge an attack, plus you get an ability. This one is a passive ability, which is a double jump. So you're able to double jump with a cooldown of like 7.5 seconds. Some of this stuff may have been changed, but again, basically you get what I mean. These skill trees provide benefits and buffs to help you out in Expeditions only, and it'll make you basically a more OP player, and there's just more to grind. So another one would be the combat tree, which can have increased damage to all mobs other than bosses from 5% at level 1 all the way to 15% at level 5. Again, these numbers may have changed. I'm just reading off the document I have. And then there's ability that upon killing 15 mobs, you receive 15 seconds of strength 2. And then the 15 mobs start again when the strength 2 is over. The next thing is milestones. So this is a Island 6 only thing. It's actually really, really good. So Island 6 is the riskiest island. I guess it's not an island anymore. It's a dome. I'm just going to keep calling it island though. But basically, Island 6 PvP is enabled, and that means other players can kill you. But here there are special milestones that when you reach a certain amount of mob kills, you are guaranteed an OP reward, and like the reward is stated and all that. So for example, I'm just going to make one up. every or for your first 1,000 mob kills at Island 6, you then get a flaming hollow on the 1,000th kill. Obviously, that's a made-up thing, but that's how it's going to be in terms of you kill this many mobs, and on that X mob, you will get a really good reward. And you'll see what reward it is. It's a very motivating, and it should be like actually really good rewards because number one, you have to get to Island 6, which is hard enough, and number two, you have to risk it there because it's PvP enabled. So that's that. Next thing, expedition pets. We are introducing some pets that can only be used at expeditions to help, you know, your experience there. The next biggest thing for this update is Voyages 2.0. The fan favorite Voyages, we actually had vaulted this map, and I know a lot of players are hungry for it back, so it's honestly perfect timing. We took off Voyages for a map, made it fresh, so people focused on the new dungeon and all that sort of stuff, but now we are introducing a Voyages 2.0, which is our biggest update to Voyages ever, and there's also something else coming called Voyages Battles and Wars, which are really, really cool. But basically, 2.0 is kind of just a change with brand new rooms, new trinkets, new lobbies, and a whole bunch of like miscellaneous changes to already existing rooms to give them new difficulty, a new feel, and to kind of like reset everyone's ability to complete rooms, because obviously when the rooms are just exist for a while, people know how to beat them easy, but if we change things up, then it kind of resets that whole thing and everyone's starting from the bottom again. So we have chaotic trinkets, which trinkets are something that you can apply onto a voyage portal for special abilities, and this actually increases the difficulty of your voyage by giving you guys debuffs, but you have a higher chance at better rewards. So it's kind of cool. It's kind of like more risk, more reward. We have 5 new rooms: the treasure map maze, the island, the teleport parkour maze, the Yeti, and the parkour maze. So I'm pretty sure it's purposeful that we're not giving explanations of what the rooms are, because that's kind of what we do when we release like dungeons or voyages. We don't tell people how to do them. They kind of have to figure it out. So that's like one of the fun parts about, you know, doing voyages when they first come out. And then there's a ton of changes to already existing ones. I don't want to go through every single one, but it is on the forums post. But yeah, there's like 20 rooms that were changed in different ways. Like I'm seeing bigger board for color craze, new build for like almost every single one on this list. We've buffed the health and damage of bosses and certain stuff. Yeah, just a whole lot of stuff. So you can read that. Again, they're just tweaks and changes to make it more difficult. I don't want to spend time going through every single one. We are introducing increased risk. So after completing 3 rooms in the Blackbeard's tier, you'll only be offered loot every 3 rooms completed. So Blackbeard's tier is the highest tier of rewards for voyages. When you get to that tier, you're rolling the best drop tables every single time. But apparently, if you'll only get offered after 3 rooms every 3 times, meaning that if you decline your loot, then it's going to be a little bit harder for you to like get the next loot. And the last thing for Voyages is Voyages Battles and Wars. So it's intended to be released like halfway through the map. It won't be there when Voyages enables from /fund. But basically, I'm just going to read what it says. If you like Voyages, you will love Voyages, Voyage Wars, and Battles. Put you and your crew to the ultimate test to see who will reign supreme. Voyage teams will compete head-to-head in a series of battles and wars, so choose who you want on your team wisely. A point allocation system will be put in place where the team with the highest cumulative points following the completion of all the rooms/competitions will be distinguished as the winner. So it's basically like a head-to-head match of a party versus another party, and it's a whole different loot table. I think it's completely brand new rooms, and it'll all be, you know, just really cool. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be really fun. That is intended for like halfway through the map, like I said, or about 2 weeks in or something like that. So F-top leaderboards have been completely reworked. We are no longer basing F-top or the map winners off of base value, which it previously was, which is just the value of your spawners in your base claims, or just in your claim. But now it is based off of a point system, kind of like HCF. Okay, we've definitely morphed some things from HCF onto Minecadia, which I'm going to be, you know, I'm very happy for. HCF's not around right now, really, so bringing some of those core things over that I'm missing is going to be good. But yeah, F-top leaderboards is now a point-based system. Basically, we've got capturing a Koth 50 points, warp Koth capture 75, hard point win, which I haven't even talked about yet, 50, DTC 50, conquest 1000, Citadel 1000. I think I forgot to actually hover over that one. Player kill is +1, but there's a cooldown on this per faction, so I think a faction can only gain +1 from a kill every like 3 minutes, so there's no boosting, stuff like that. Let me go back to that. Boss kill for the #1 damager. Dungeon completion, this only goes per faction in the dungeon, not per player. So if you have 1 faction in the dungeon, you only get 20 points. If you have 2, then each faction gets 20. We got the void room completion, same system per faction, but it's 1 point per room, because people run up like crazy amounts of rooms. So we want to start small, make sure it doesn't break anything. We got the expeditions boss kill. That's going to be 3. F value 1. So this is going to give you 30 points every hour. F value 2 is 20 points every hour. F value 3 is 10 points every hour. So like I said, there's still a value leaderboard. Doesn't really dictate who wins the map, but it does help towards F top points. Holding an outpost gives you 3 points every 15 minutes. Stronghold 3 points every 15 minutes as well. Player death -1 point, but again, this has a cooldown as well. I think it's the same as the kill, so every 3 minutes you could lose 1 point. Then we have raiding a faction's core. So I'll get into explaining what this is, but if you raid a faction's core, you gain 33% of their points and they lose 33% of their points. You kind of steal it. Then right here, we have the faction core being raided. If your faction core gets raided, obviously you lose 33% of faction points. Every faction leader must place down a core inside their base claim. It's a physical beacon, so it's a single beacon. Right now, it's just one beacon. You place it down. Only the leader can pick it up or destroy it or anything like that. And once it's placed down, then you can start gaining faction points. If it's not placed down, you can't gain any points at all. So there's no way that you can like not have a core and still be on the leaderboard. You basically, if you pick it up, it also resets your points to 0. So you got to be certain where you place it is going to be the most protected spot in your base, and that you're going to be basically be building your protection around that. But yeah, the way to raid the core is, I guess raiders are going to have to choose if they want to go for the spawners, like the value or the points. Maybe they can do both, but the way we have it right now is that you actually have to access the beacon as an enemy faction raiding. It has to be the actual faction raiding, since we do have functionality that detects who's raiding. And then you right click the beacon and you click the raid button, and then what that does is it steals their points. And then there's also a raid cooldown on who got raided for 24 hours, so they can't just get spam raided. So again, this whole system with the faction core is going to stay, but the way we do it might change. Like for example, in the future, we might make it so you have to place down 5 cores all like within one chunk or just in your base claims, and each core holds 20% of your points, and that means that someone could raid all 5 of them technically. We don't really we kind of want to see how it goes first before we do something that drastic, because we're not too sure if we want people to be getting points from PvP but then all of them disappear from raiding. So we're gonna have to see how it goes. Hopefully this is a good balance right now, 33% and then the 24-hour cooldown. I think that's pretty good because that gives people time to patch. There are going to be new F top rewards for this map applied to the next map. I don't know if they're confirmed yet, but there's just new F top rewards that are better than what they were before. So again, I'm not going to read them out, but if you want to check that out, check out the forums post. Oh, and something I completely forgot to mention is the top 3 value factions will be subject to PvP buffs. Okay, so you're going to get passive PvP buffs if you're in position 1, 2, or 3 of value. So again, that's another like layer of incentive to PvPers to make like a base and have value, is to actually get those PvP buffs. These are subject to change as well. Right now we have for F value 1, we have -5% incoming damage, 15% reduced pet cooldown, 30% less soul usage. For F value 2, we have 15% reduced pet cooldown, 30% less soul usage. And for F value 3, we just have 30% less soul usage. I think we're going to be adding something that's really good to all 3 of these positions, which right now we have like discussions for giving all of these value positions speed 4 permanently, which is a really good PvP buff for 3 full factions. Or we might do like a virtual hybrid shard, so you have all the crew effects. We're still discussing. That's subject to change, but the final version should be on the forums post. But yeah, that's how that's going to work. Okay, we're getting closer to the end, but not really. So the next thing is the competitive event schedule. So something I noticed on Minecadia is that like whenever I'd log on, I wouldn't really know what the hell to do. I just start PvPing randomly. So I wanted to add a little bit more structure to everything, and we're actually going to be not hosting an event manually, but like an event, a competitive PvP event such as Koth, Hardpoint, Destroy the Core, or Warp Koth will start every 2 hours. And that also, again, ties in with F-top. That means that these like Koths and all the stuff that are giving points are going to be running consistently every 2 hours, so that people have something to contest. We redesigned all of them. They all have their own UIs. Like if I do /hardpoint, you can read this stuff right here. When it goes active, it'll say active. It'll have all the capture information. The scoreboard there's a scoreboard designed for every active event, so now you'll like know when there's one active. You can see Warp Koth right now is there. Hardpoint has one. Destroy the Core has one. We added one to Koth, and there's new messages and stuff like that. But then the end revamp. Okay, so this is something that kind of goes hand in hand with all this. End was vaulted in terms of the expedition like mobs there, because obviously expeditions 2.0, why have end if we're really putting all this effort in 2.0? So we vaulted the end mobs, but the end will stay as a more competitive region, because when I was there, it reminded me of HCF. There was no flying, no accessing PVs, none of that stuff. which are all pretty good restrictions for like a good PvP zone. So we're going to be keeping that zone and have events there. So we're going to have like Koths there, DTCs there, Hardpoint there, and then 2 brand new events, Citadel and Conquest. The big events from HCF are going to be in the end and hosted every single weekend on Minecadia factions. Next, we have party risk duels. So you guys know risk duels. I've done them in my videos where you just 1v1 someone and the winner keeps the other person's set. Now you can create a party by doing party create. You can invite people and then you can duel others of the same party size for a risk inventory party fight, which is pretty cool. The leader of both parties, or I guess the leader of the winning party, is the one who collects all the enemies loot as well as like fallen allies. So make sure you play this with someone you actually trust. I assume it's going to be against the rules to like steal players like loot, like your teammates loot, but just do it for players you trust because they do take your loot if you die. Next thing is just new leaderboards. We have a new leaderboard system that has like 14 different leaderboards, it looks like, which are all just pretty cool stuff like top kills, top kill streak, top KDR, top deaths, top event ones, top playtime, etc. There's just a bunch there. We just wanted to add that so there's more competition that way. And the last 2 like new additions is the Christmas Chronicles obviously being released. So we do a chronicle every map. It's going to be really cool. And then we're going to be doing an advent calendar. I'm pretty sure we're doing one. I'm not 100% sure, but the advent calendar is like something where you can claim a reward every single day. I'm getting really worried that this video is like 30 minutes long, but there's a whole list of tweaks, which I could go through each one, but I'll just say the most important ones. There's a bunch of enchant changes like vaults, unvaults, buffs, and nerfs. So check down in the post. Armor set, this one's important. Inferno armor set has been unvaulted. That's one of my favorite armor sets. So that's coming back. There's been some pet changes, some partner item changes, some mask changes. We removed the faction member upgrade from F upgrade, meaning 15 mans is literally the max. I forgot to say that earlier. Slash fund has been reworked. It has more stuff in it. We removed Shilling's Cave from it. So the first dungeon is going to be accessible right away. Orbs have been removed from the fun and actually replaced with holy white scrolls and pet collars instead. So that means that you'll be able to get 10 lores right away, but you can no longer protect them with holy white scrolls and your pets as well. I do got to give huge shout outs though to the admin team for Voyages 2.0. I pretty much did not touch that at all. Same with Voyages, Wars, and Battles. They did that all on their own. So big shout out to them. I know a lot of the staff helped. Expeditions 2.0, I helped out a little bit, but it was mainly done by the admin team as well. So big shout out to them for both of those things. Be sure to show them some support as well. And just big shout out to everyone, management, owners, developers, all the team, every staff member, all the admins. We've all been working on this for a little bit, and it's one of our biggest updates, I'd say, content-wise. Not just content-wise, but like foundation-wise. We changed up almost everything, and I think we're going to be in a better standing. And with all the new changes, like to, going against cheating, combating cheating, with all these new things, I hope it's going to be well. But yeah, guys, quick notes on the other realms for Minecadia. I know some people have been asking. I'm trying to get prisons out in December. It's just a little tough because obviously I'm doing Cobra at the same time with like the same developers. So it's really hard to balance everything. But I do want to get prisons out. I'll just go ahead and tease the date. The date that I would do if I can get it done is the 17th of December. So stay tuned for that. In terms of lifesteal, I think we'll just do like a content update. I don't plan to reset that anytime soon. And then kit map, we also do have like a big update in mind. Just don't know when it's going to get done. I would prioritize prisons over that. So it's probably going to come in January when it does come, if it does come. But it will be, obviously pretty big, and it'll change up a lot about that. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, just thanks to the entire Minecadia team. Hope you guys check out the update. We worked hard on it, and be sure to show them some support in the Discord. All right, guys, long video. I'll see you guys later. I'm going to be uploading daily, by the way. I don't care how low views get. I'm just going to keep uploading for you guys, for those who want to watch it. I know it's been quite some time on YouTube. This is what, like 6 or 7 years into the making right here. I've mainly kind of converted more to the server side of stuff, but I still enjoy making videos for you guys. So hopefully you guys do enjoy them if you do watch them. I'll see you guys next video. Be sure to check out the update this Friday, December 2nd, punishment reset, 5 p.m. EST. MeeZoid.minecadia.com. Redeem MeeZoid. Yes. Peace.